You're listening to the audio production of A Teachable Spirit, The Virtue of Learning from Strangers, Enemies, and Absolutely Anyone by A.J. Swoboda, published by Zondervan and read by Tom Parks. The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Alvin Toffler, Future Shock. Introduction. Spanish has always been my Achilles heel. For 5 years, spanning 3 years of high school and 2 at university, I furiously attempted to learn the mother tongue of many of my hometown friends in Kaiser, Oregon. Despite studying Spanish for half a decade, the language has all but abandoned me in adulthood, minus a phrase or two that can be used in a pinch. I've lost most of it. Not all languages are this challenging for me. Biblical Greek, given my day job, is a far more familiar and comfortable language. But that pesky Spanish, 5 years of study, and all I can do is ask if the joint has a bathroom. I've often wondered, will I finally learn Spanish in heaven? As silly as it seems, this question is not insignificant. Over a lifetime, every human will accumulate a set of skills that will shape their existence: driving a stick shift, carrying on conversations, doing the finances, putting the green, passing a basketball between the legs, walking and chewing gum at the same time. The list goes on. Be it for survival or a favorite pastime, life offers chance after chance to develop the skills necessary to thrive. So it's not a silly question. Will humans, upon entering the presence of God's glory in heaven, continue to cultivate such skills? Will we learn new things in heaven, and maybe unlearn what we've done wrong our whole life? In short, will I finally be able to learn Spanish in heaven? The Bible is quiet on this subject, but not silent. In the divinely inspired words of Revelation that paint the picture of a future new creation, that place Christians call heaven, John describes what his eyes passingly behold. The apostle catches sight of throngs of worshippers who are, as he describes them, a great multitude that no one could count, from every nation, tribe, people, and language, standing before the throne and before the Lamb. Revelation chapter 7, verse 9. John notices that the inhabitants of heaven speak different languages. This is noteworthy, if for no other reason than the divine realm John beholds depicts a human community in all its diversity, ethnic, tribal, and even cultural. For John, heaven does not annihilate linguistic diversity, which could be bad news. If the possibility of learning new languages isn't a reality in heaven, then we're all relegated to an everlasting existence with others with whom we'll never be able to communicate. That doesn't sound like heaven. It sounds like hell. The other option is that God will give infinite knowledge to humans in heaven. But wouldn't that entail humans becoming something more than human? Only God can have divine, perfect, infinite knowledge. The triune God is the only know-it-all. So just as resurrection doesn't annihilate difference, neither will it fix our finitude. In heaven, human beings continue to be just that. Beings. John's vision isn't the only text we can approach to answer our question about learning in heaven. There's Paul's letter to the Ephesians. At the heart of the epistle, the apostle describes the resurrection state of the follower of Jesus. God raised us up with Christ and seated us with him in the heavenly realms in Christ Jesus, in order that in the coming ages he might show the incomparable riches of his grace, expressed in his kindness to us in Christ Jesus. Ephesians chapter 2, verses 6 through 7. Keep in mind that Paul is describing the state of the saint in glory. Notice that God will show the resurrected inhabitants various realities, namely, about the endless bounties of God's grace, kindness, and mercy that went unappreciated on earth. For Paul, God has more to show, reveal, and make manifest to our finite eyes. We will, it seems, always have more to learn, perhaps forever. Heaven, then,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?